Dear God, something's been bothering me for a while and I was wondering if I should voice my concerns. I thought I'd run it past you first. See, as a go-between, I can see the impact of these things and I'm a little worried. The problem, it's those foreigner identification forms. So for years now, I've been putting ticks where it says British Pakistani and British Muslim. It always says, tick the box. But I can never see a box, ever. They're always squares. I'm not talking about reducing human beings to ethnicity, religion and passports, or like describing a Bach sonata in terms of technical expertise in the use of catgut and vibrations in the air, or even taking all the orange peel and cherries out of a fruit cake and calling the orange peel and cherries the cake. That's not the problem. My concern isn't the cake or Bach or passports. What I'm really concerned about is that the British foreigners won't know proper English if we call a square a box. And what about the real British English? The tragedy of never knowing a box, to see a square but identify it as a box. It's so wrong. Reducing it to just one plane is a violation of the poor box. A square, well, it's easy. It's easy to recognise. It's just 4 sides all the same length. But a box? Well, a box has 6 sides that can be varying in length. Some are lightweight, some are heavyweight, and they come in all colours and materials and made by lots of different brands. But most of all, they hold things. A square holds our ticks. A box could have nasty things lurking inside. Or it could be a box with a ribbon on, with a lovely present inside, like a pony. A pony in a box. Imagine that. Yes, I think I will have to point it out. Perhaps the foreigner identifying form should have an image of a cube on. I know an image is only a representation and not the real thing, but it's better than what we have at the moment. Perhaps the cube could have a pyramid resting on top, a vertical cuboid on top of that with plumes of smoke coming out of it, and a door on one side. A square window, a round window, and an arch on each of the other sides. Am I being greedy? Instead of a tick, please may I have Humpty Dumpty, Jemima, Hamble, Little Ted and Big Ted? It's comforting to have friends and exchange hospitality. Over afternoon tea, we could delight in discourse on halcyon days. We could conclude that Pakistani and Muslim were already dirty, violent words, and Little Ted would confirm an increase of derogatory use in his playground over the past years. Hamble would interject, reminding us that, remaining on our current trajectory, British was fast becoming a dirty word too. With something between a mumble and a heckle, Humpty would object. We're not just British, we're Great British, and anything with great as prefix could never be dirty. Jemima would agree with Hamble and offer proof through the round window. At this point, Humpty would have a great big strop and throw himself off his chair, pulling my beautiful Ruskin lace tablecloth and smashing my Wedgwood Renaissance gold teapot. One acquires such necessities when one has a cube with a roof and windows. At this point, Humpty would have a great big strop and throw himself off his chair, pulling my beautiful Ruskin lace tablecloth and smashing my Wedgwood Renaissance gold teapot. One acquires such necessities when one has a cube with a roof and windows. The tea would be spilt scalding Little Ted, who would understandably be screaming and flapping unbearably, whilst Big Ted, who until now had sat quite disinterested in anything because it didn't affect him, would reach out with his strong muscular physique, claiming the fruitcake, triumphantly declaring, "What a good boy am I!" for saving the fruitcake from complete annihilation under the untargeted hysteria of Jemima's Mary Janes on their way to deploy toothpaste on the site of the Earl Grey attack. Whisking Little Ted off to the nearest emergency depot would not be an option on a Friday night, as it would have turned into the evening by now, and the NHS waiting time would be unbearable. Meanwhile, Little Ted, calmed by the toothpaste balm, would carry on frolicking around the cube, singing the words "collateral damage" to the sound of oranges and lemons. Every now and then He would pause in front of the wretched Humpty to inform him the reason he couldn't wash the toothpaste off for the next 2 days, because he wanted to show his school friends his white arms and legs. Humpty Dumpty would snap at him to get out of his way, let out a great groan about how everyone had spoilt things and that it was him who needed fixing, not the little rat. Rather worn out and somewhat jaded, no one would pay him any attention. Now here's where I come in. Feeling a little sorry for him, I would ask the watery arch window for a solution. The window would reply that we were indeed in a dark, entangled forest of hubris. But there was hope. Darkness would lift and the forest would clear. Humpty Dumpty could be put back together again, if only he could find some humility. At this point, Humpty Dumpty would snap, "What codswallop! We won the Great War, and the war to end all the wars," and tell me to go back where I had come from. To which I would reply, "I'm British, actually English, I think." He would ask me to prove it. I would give him my passport. He would say, "But you don't respect our values. Even though I may be a 1967 Macaulay model, unfortunately, that's where we are. I don't know what British values are anymore." Dear God, perhaps if I closed my eyes and wished hard enough, you could grant me a list of British values. Perhaps we could start by getting rid of that monstrously entitled creature that inspires so many a British lad. Bond. James Bond.